What's up guys, welcome back to the WebXP channel. This is Sess. Today we're going to be making this brand new tutorial over our newest 3D asset, which is our oversized 3D tee template. In this tutorial we're going to be showing you guys how to change the colors, add your logos, your graphics, how to change the animations, also the render settings, etc. We'll be going over how to do it inside the Photoshop file that we provide. Also an alternative option just in case you don't have access to Photoshop. And of course Blender is a free program, so we put a link in the bio for you guys to download if you don't have it already. Alright guys, we're going to show you where you can purchase and download this 3D template. It's going to be on our website at webxp.dev. This is what our landing page will look like when you first get here. And to get to the 3D assets, you'll go to Assets and 3D Assets. And as you can see, we already have some previous existing assets such as a trucker hat mock-up. We have this 5-panel beanie, and if you scroll down a bit you'll see the 3D tees that we created. We have a standard fitting size 3D tee and then our oversized tee, which we'll be using today in this tutorial. This is what the product listing will look like. It's 30 USD. You buy it once and use it forever. We listed what everything that comes inside of it, which is a Blender file, Photoshop file, UV maps, the 3D model files, and HDR files, etc. As soon as you purchase these files, you will receive a zip folder with all these files inside of it. Once you download your zip folder, you will need to extract it. On Windows, you can simply right click on the zip folder and select extract all. On Mac, you can simply double click the zip folder and it should extract the folder for you. Once you open up the folder, you will see two folders inside with the PDF file. The PDF does have some basic instructions on how to customize the UV maps, as well as the legal policies for this 3D asset. Let's click into the 3D models file so we can open up the 3D scene. Once you open up your Blender file, you will probably see this. You can see this is a 3D scene that we put together for you guys with lighting, camera, and backdrop. If you click at the top right, you can see there's viewport shading options. You're going to want to click on the last one so that you can view an accurate preview of what you'll be rendering out. As you can see here, the shirt is pink right now, and this is because there's no UV map attached to it. So what we'll need to do is apply a UV map to this. So you want to click on the top left corner where it says editor type, and you're going to go down to shader editor. Once you click in shader editor, you want to make sure you're in object mode. As you can see here, this is an image block. What you're going to want to do is click on the little folder icon to open the image. And simply all you're going to want to do is go into the folder that you downloaded with these 3D files. Go to the image folder and select one of the PNGs provided. So we'll do UV map standard. Now you can see our t-shirt is white and no longer pink because now there's a UV map applied to it. So first we're going to go over how exactly you guys can change the color of these UV maps inside of the Photoshop file and the alternate version, which is going to be a free version using PhotoPea. Once you open up the Photoshop file, you'll see this intro page. On here it shows you some shortcuts on how to change the wash details, the colors, etc. To hide this, just go to the layers panel and click on the eye and it'll go away. So you can see here the standard cotton is shown right now. It's just white. And you also have the wash details. And then you have the washed cotton. So to change up the colors of either one of these, all you want to do is click on the layer. So right now we're on the wash cotton layer, and then you're going to click Control U, and it might be Command U on Mac. So you can see here this hue and saturation panel pops up. You want to click on Colorize, and now if you slide the hue, you can see it's now changing colors. So let's make it a red. You just gotta mess around with it and try to match up the color that you're trying to aim for. Once you get the color you're aiming for, you want to click OK. Now you can see we changed it up to red, and it's displaying the washed details right now on the edges. If you want to turn it off, just click on the eye, it'll turn it off. Or if you want to make it softer or more intense, then you simply click on the wash details layer and go to opacity. Then you'll be able to make it a lot stronger or softer. We'll keep it at 5%. Once you're done changing up the colors to what you're wanting, you're going to want to click on File, Export, and Export As. The format is going to be PNG, transparent. Then all you're going to do is just export it as a PNG and you're ready. Alright guys, now this is going to be the alternate version. It's going to be a free version just in case you guys don't have access to Photoshop. This is going to be PhotoPea.com. And this is what it looks like as soon as you land on the website. So what you're going to do is open up the washed or standard UV maps. Now as soon as you upload a UV map, this is what you're going to see. It's pretty similar to Photoshop. What you're going to want to do is click on the layer on the right. And you're going to do the same thing, which is going to be Control U. Now you can see this pop-up window appeared. You're going to want to click Colorize. And now you're going to mess with the settings until you achieve the color that you want. Once you're done, just click OK. You're going to go to File, Export As, PNG, and just save your file somewhere on your computer. Now once you have your new color UV map, you're going to want to go back into Blender, click on the shirt object, make sure you're on UV map oversized T material or else it won't pop up. If you're on the stitching, you'll see it's blank. You want to be able to see this image block. So let's set it as the new UV map that we created. Now you're set, you got your new UV map, red color shirt. If you zoom in, you can see the stitching is white. To be able to change the color of the stitching, you're going to want to go to Materials, then click on Stitching. Go down to Base Color. Then from here you can change it to whatever color you want it to be. Now to change the background color or material, right now it's a cement material, but if you wanted to change this, you're going to want to install Blender Kit. It's a free add-on for Blender. We'll leave the link in the bio for you to download and be able to follow along with us. But let's just say you already downloaded it and installed it. If you look to the right side right here, you'll see Blender Kit. Now there's going to be different options like models, scenes, HDRs. We're going to do materials. So what's cool about Blender Kit, it has hundreds and hundreds of different materials, and it has a search bar function, so you'll be able to look for something that you're wanting specifically. So let's say we're looking for a different cement material. So you want to make sure to click on the plain background. Let's look up cement. Click enter. And now you can see a bunch of different options appeared. So you're going to want to look for the material that you like and simply just double click it, and it should automatically change your background material. Now not all materials will work. Since it is just a 2D plain object, it might not come out the way you want it. So you're going to want to click around and try to see which one works the best. So you can see this material, it kind of does a repeat pattern. So this isn't going to look good. Do Control Z and just keep looking for a different material. Now once you found the material background that you want and you have your UV map set, now we're going to be able to add your logos or graphics. So we're going to do a simple design. We're going to add our WebXP logo to the front and to the back. So to do this, you're going to want to go to Add, Image, then Images Planes. Once you selected the image you want, it should appear highlighted like this. Now you're going to want to position the shirt so that it's facing forward and not to the side like this. So let's click on the Z top axis and just go down to this timeline right here and just click through the frames to see which one is the straightest for you to work with. So it looks like around 25 is the straightest to work with. So we're going to leave it like this. Now we're going to add a small logo to the front and then a larger logo on the back. So I'm going to copy and paste this real quick and move it to the side. To hide this little toolbar on the side, you can click N and it'll disappear just to give you some more space. Now let's click on this logo and shrink it. You can either click on the scale tool on the left right here, or just simply click the image and then select the S key, and you're going to be able to drag your mouse and shrink that logo. So This looks about a good size. Now you're gonna want to get this image as close to the material as possible. So let's say around here, looks good. Make sure you got your positioning right. I want to add it to about right there. Great. Now what you're gonna want to do is go into edit mode. You can click tab or go up here where it says object mode and click edit mode. Now there should be a highlighted square that appears on your image. Simply you're gonna go right click and subdivide. So what this does is gonna make more little squares, and you're gonna want to do this a couple times to about here. Just be aware, depending on your computer, this could make it lag or slow down if you do it too many times. But this should be fine. Now when you have it subdivided to this, you can exit out of edit mode, go back to object mode. Now you're gonna go to the right over here and do modifier properties, add a modifier. Go to shrink wrap. Now you're gonna click on this wrap method and go to project. Next you're gonna want to click negative, uncheck positive, then go down to target and this eyedrop tool, click on it, and you're gonna click on the shirt model. So now you can see it pasted it onto your shirt, but it seems to be way too deep in. So what we're gonna want to do is go to offset and type in something like 0.001. Perfect. Now you can see your logo looks good. If you move around, you can see it's now flush with the shirt. Now you can either apply the modifier or just leave it how it is. This way, if you want to be able to move it around or edit it, then you won't have to delete and add an image again. So let's just leave it how it is for now. Let's move on to the back. Grab the logo and we're going to drag it to the back of the shirt. You can see the logo isn't facing the way it should be. To rotate this easily, all you're going to want to do is click R, Z, 180. Now you can see your logo is looking good. Just position it to be as close to the middle as possible, and then as close to the shirt as possible. You don't want to go too deep into the shirt or it's not going to work properly. Alright, there we go. So I'm liking this position. Now we're going to repeat the steps that we did previously for the front logo. Go into edit and subdivide this. Get out of edit mode, back into object mode, and do the modifier, shrink wrap. Click project, negative, uncheck positive. Click the eyedrop tool and select your shirt. For offset, 0.001. Now you can further move it to the position that you're wanting if it's not directly in the center. So that looks good. So now you've managed to apply logos or graphics onto your shirt. You want to make sure these files are a transparent PNG file. If you do JPEG, then you'll be able to see the border or the background of your graphics. Unless it's a square graphic, then you're going to want to do a transparent PNG file, as you see here with our logos. So now you're not done yet. If you click onto the images and go to material properties, you're going to want to push down the specular to probably 0. What the specular does is make the logo reflect light more. So depending on what your printing is, let's say it's screen printing, then ink isn't going to be that shiny. It depends on what kind of ink, of course. But let's just push it down the specular because we're going to try to mimic a screen printed shirt. And you can further edit it here with the roughness or metallic. But this looks good for now. Now let's click both logos. Click your graphics. They're going to highlight like this. To select both, you're going to want to click the first image, then hold shift and click the back image. And both of them should highlight. Now we're gonna need to apply this to the empty that this model is on. If you zoom out a bit, you'll be able to see the empty that it's on. The empty is gonna be this axis that is right in the middle of the model. So just click on this empty. Make sure you hit shift before you click on it, or it will unclick your images. Now all of it should be highlighted. Make sure that you click the empty last and not first during these steps, or else it won't work properly. Now that they're all highlighted, you're going to want to click Control P. This pop-up will show up. You're going to select Object Keep Transform. Now what you just did is made sure that the graphics or logos that you applied to your shirt is going to move with the animation that it has applied to it. So if you click play, you can see our graphics are staying on the shirt and not moving out of place. You can also click the camera if it's in your way, just to give you some more space over here on the right side. Now I want to add a metallic 3D logo to the hanger. I'm going to show you how to do this real quick. Let's go back to the 25th frame, and what you're going to import is an SVG of your logo. To make an SVG, you're going to want to make it inside of Illustrator, or your designer will send you an SVG file, or you can use another software like Canva in case you don't have access to Illustrator. So where you're going to want to go is to File, Import, SVG. Now look for your SVG file and you're going to import it. Now you can see here our SVG appeared. It should be laying flat like this. If there's multiple parts to your logo, they will be separate. So what you're going to want to do is select all of it with Shift and do Control J, and this will join all the files together for you. Now we're going to want to stand up the logo, so click RX90. This will make it stand up. And if you click on the logo, you can right click and set the origin to origin the center of mass. And this will move it closer to the middle so that you'll be able to move it around and not be confused. Now we're going to extrude this. If you go down to the right, Object Data Properties, head down to Extrude and click this next button. Now you can see it extruded it a bit. You can extrude it as much as you want, but this looks fine for now. So let's get it as close onto the hanger as possible. And what we're going to add to this is a chrome color. So go back into Blender Kit, into Materials, and a really nice chrome material that we found is called Card Chrome. Here it is, and this gives it a really nice chrome, just silver color. If you want to be able to change the color of this material, just select on the object, go to Material Properties, into Base Color, and you'll be able to change the color if you wanted to. You can see our hanger and chain is changing colors because it is using the same material. So if you do want to change colors and avoid that, you're going to click on a Card Chrome material and duplicate it. It's going to be this little paper icon. Click on it and you can see now there's a Card Chrome 0.001. So now anything that we do to this material will not affect the other materials. So you can see you can change it to red, green, blue, but we're just going to keep it as a plain silver. Now we're going to position it and scale it down to our liking, and just try to position it to the middle as close as possible. You're going to want to look at it from different angles and just kind of plant it in there. Perfect, looks nice. And the same thing we did with the graphics, you're going to want to click on this object and click on your empty with Shift, then do Control P and do Object Keep Transform. Now your hanger logo should stick to the animation and not move out of place. So you can go into the camera view and click play, and you can see everything sticking together. Now the default animation that we've added to this model is just going to display the front of the shirt, but let's say you have back graphics, so we're going to have to change the animation of this to be able to display the front and the back. So let's pause this, and you're going to want to click on your empty. So if you look down in the timeline, you're going to see we added keyframes. That's what the current animation is. Let's say we want to do just a seamless 360. So what we're going to want to do is delete these keyframes. You can select all of them and do delete keyframes. You can go into object properties, rotation, and your Z, you can just start it at 0. Now you're going to go to the first frame, make sure it's on 1, go to the rotation Z and click on this dot right here, and it should turn into a yellow highlight with a diamond icon. So now we've added our first keyframe. Now we're going to want to go to the last frame and then go one past it. So right now it ends at 99 frames, but we're going to go to 100. Then we're going to set the rotation to 360 or negative 360 degrees. Type that in and then click on the diamond again, and it should highlight yellow. So now if you go into camera view and then click play, you can see that it's now doing a seamless 360 rotation. And if this is too quick or too slow, all you're going to want to do is add more frames to your timeline. So let's say you want to slow it down a bit, just go over here to end and type in something like 180, and you can see your timeline got longer. But now you're going to want to make sure that your end keyframe is at the end of your timeline. So you're going to click on it and drag it to 181. So now when you click play, you can see that the 360 is a lot more slower and still seamless. Depending on how your setup is, playing video like this in real time could make your computer lag, but if you're on a PC with a decent graphics card, then it should be possible. If you're like on a MacBook or just an old laptop, then this may make it lag or crash. So just make sure that you're saving your file after every changes or every few minutes, so that way if it does crash, you're backed up and you don't have to start all over again. Now if you're happy with your animation, we're gonna now render it out. So what you're gonna do is go to output properties. You can see the preset resolution is at 1280 720, which is a HD plus. If you want to make it more HD, then just use a 16:9 ratio, but we're gonna leave it as 1280 and 720. The frame rate should be 30 frames per second. If you're planning on using this for like social media, such as like Instagram or TikTok, they go by 30 frames per second. Any higher is not gonna make a difference. So let's just save time and energy and just keep it at 30 frames per second. You're gonna go to output and you're gonna select where you want to save this file. So just click on the folder and then go into the folder that you want to save it at, and everything should stay the same. You want to make sure it's at MPEG-4 as a container, and the output quality should be at lossless. Now when you have all that set up, you're ready to render it out. Please make sure to turn off the live view before you do this and your viewport shading, and make sure you also save your file before you start rendering, because depending on your setup, if you're on a smaller computer, leaving the live view on and then rendering it out will make it either slower or just crash. So we want to be efficient and save time and leave it as just a plain material. And once you're ready, you're going to go to top left and render, and then go to render animation. The time it takes out to render out all the frames will vary depending on your setup as well. If you're using a smaller like MacBook or laptop that doesn't have like a graphics card, then it will take longer versus like a PC that has a pretty decent graphics card. It could take anywhere from like 10 to 15 minutes. It really depends on what the pixels are that you put on there. If you made it more HD, or if you added more lighting, 3D objects, anything that's a heavier file, it will definitely slow it down because of the file size. So just keep that in mind. Anything that you do add to it and is a heavy size, you want to make sure to compress it. There's a pretty neat add-on as well for this called Metaspark Toolkit. We'll put the link in the bio for you to guys add it on, And with this toolkit, you'll be able to click on objects and compress all the polygons to make it a smaller object. And once it's a smaller object, then your rendering and your software will be faster, also will be less likely to crash. Alright guys, so now you can see the final product. It's the red tee with the logos on them. If there's any questions or concerns, anything that we didn't go over, or if you're confused over something that we did, make sure to leave a comment or reach out to us via Instagram, and we'll be more than happy to help you out and figure out what your problem is. Please let us know of any products that you'd like to see us make in the future. That way we can provide you guys with the best mock-ups possible. Thank you guys for watching. I'll be seeing you guys in the next video.